Hey everyone, Mike here, and today we're having side by side two cool Samsung smartphones, the popular Galaxy S3 and the newly launched S3 Mini. Having a quick look at the two, the S3 Mini seems a lot like a shrink version of the S3. However, when getting in depth with your analysis, you'll see that there's a lot more than meets the eye about these two. So tag along and I'll explain you the main similarities and differences between them. Design-wise, the S3 and S3 Mini are extremely close. Yes, the Mini is more compact than the S3 since it packs a smaller screen. It's also lighter, as you might have expected, but on the other hand it's slightly thicker. However, with a smaller body, the Galaxy S3 Mini just fits better in hand and is more comfortable to use, as you could easily cover the whole screen with your thumb. In comparison, you'll need to use both hands with the bigger S3, which can be a bit annoying. However, just to see how aesthetically close these two are, Samsung even went for the same button placement on them. The volume rockers are on the left, the headset jack sits on top, the power button is on the right, and there's a micro USB slot on the bottom. The two also feature the same glossy plastic finishing on the back and overall are on par in terms of build quality, which is alright, but it's not stellar. Still, the plastic button covers are detachable, hiding the battery, SIM slot and microSD card slots behind it. As expected, the battery on the S3 is slightly larger, and this one uses a micro SIM slot as opposed to the mini SIM on its relative. There's also a shooter on the back of these phones with flash and the loudspeaker, but more about this later. Having a look at those front sides, it's pretty obvious that the S3 packs a much larger screen, a 4.8-incher, while the S3 Mini only features a 4-inch display. Both have a home button on the bottom, flanked by two capacitive controls, plus the front-facing camera, speaker grille and sensors on top, and a notification LED. Besides the size, there are actually other differences between the screens packed on these two handsets as well. The S3 features a Super AMOLED Plus panel, which offers better contrast and more saturated colors than the Super AMOLED one on the S3 Mini. It also comes with 1280 by 720 pixel resolution, which takes the overall pixel density a lot higher than on the 800 by 480 pixel resolution screen of the Mini. However, during everyday use, you hardly see the differences between the two unless you're looking at them from a very short distance or use the phones a lot for reading texts and browsing. The two handsets also pack different hardware platforms. While on the S3 there's the latest generation quad-core Exynos processor running at 1.5 GHz, on the S3 Mini there's merely an older dual-core 1 GHz CPU, both bundled with 1 GB of RAM. This makes the S3 snappier, but there's not really an obvious performance gap between the two, as the UI and the usual apps run fine on both of them. However, when launching more complex apps and multitasking between many running tasks, you'll see the Mini lagging, while the S3 remains snappy. Having Android 4.1 Jelly Bean on board sure helps, although our test S3 unit here only runs on Ice Cream Sandwich, which means that it will be better once it gets the upgrade. Samsung bundles the same apps on these two devices, including the default Android programs and their S-series software, with S Planner, S Memo, S Voice and other goodies like pop-up video play, smart stay and smart dialing. Besides this, you can easily run videos, music, games and all your everyday apps on the two phones, but as you might expect, multimedia content is going to look nicer on the bigger AMOLED Plus screen of the S3. Plus, this one will handle multitasking better since it packs a more powerful hardware. Both these phones come with rear and front-facing shooters. There's a 2-megapixel HD camera on the S3 on the front, but only a VGA one on the S3 Mini. On the back, there's an 8-megapixel camera on the S3 and a 5-megapixel one on the smaller Samsung, both with flash. And yes, the pics and videos coming out of the S3 are overall better, but the shooter on the S3 Mini does a decent job as well, especially when there's proper light around. However, it can only shoot 720p clips, while the S3 handles 1080p video at ease. The two will of course work as regular phones as well and offer plenty of connectivity options with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and GPS. The S3 also comes in a 4G LTE version on some markets, while the S3 Mini is only limited to 3G speeds. I should also mention that both these phones have replaceable batteries, and while there's only a 1500 mAh one on the S3 Mini as opposed to the 2100 mAh on the bigger S3, the smaller Samsung actually manages to stay on par with it thanks to its smaller screen and less powerful hardware. So both will take you through the day with the average use, which is what you can expect from such smartphones these days. Before drawing the line on this comparison, I should also mention that the S3 Mini is expected to be about 100 to 150 euros cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy S3, and that means that it should sell for around 350 to 400 off contract. With contracts, you'll even find it for free, while the S3 starts at around 200 euros or lower in some countries. All in all, the S3 Mini is not just a shrink version of the S3, but also a stripped down one. In fact, if you get past the design, the two have very few things in common, as they pack a different screen, hardware, and overall the S3 bundles more and better features than its smaller kin. But that doesn't make the S3 Mini a bad handset, not at all. In fact, it's a fine mid-range smartphone and it's just not meant to compete with the heavyweight Android devices. Thus, wrapping it up, the Galaxy S3 remains the Samsung top-of-the-line smartphone, while the S3 Mini plays in a lower league with the likes of the Sony Xperia U or the HTC Desire X, but is still a good phone if you don't have the budget to go for the S3 or just want something more compact. And that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share this clip to your friends and of course subscribe to our channel, that really helps us a lot. I will catch you all later, but before you go, let me know below in the comments which of the two phones would you pick right now and why. And also see my reviews for both of these for extra details. Cheers!